Welcome to the ASMR podcast. I am your host, Charming Whisper, and I hope you are enjoying my stories. This week my tale is called The Drenched Detective. In the dimly lit room of a city that never sleeps, the night was just beginning. The rain outside had a staccato rhythm, drumming on the window pane like a jazzy beat. I was sitting in my dingy office, half expecting a dame with trouble in her eyes to walk through the door. Trouble had a way of finding me, especially after midnight. The neon glow from the sign across the street painted shifting patterns of red and blue on the walls. The whiskey in my glass sat untouched, waiting for something worth toasting. I was wearing a fedora, its brim pulled low to keep the world at bay. My name's Max Malone, and I was a private eye. I'd seen it all, or so I thought. It was a night like any other when she walked in, as though she'd stepped right out of a black and white movie. Her heels clicked on the checkered floor, a syncopated rhythm that set my nerves on edge. She had a look in her eyes, something dark and dangerous, like a storm brewing on the horizon. "Mr. Malone," she purred, the words sliding off her crimson lips like honey. "I've got a problem only someone like you can solve." She had legs for days, the kind that could get a man into trouble faster than a crooked deck of cards. I waved her to a chair, poured a drink, and leaned back. "Spill it," I said, "and make it good." She told me about a man, a dangerous one, involved in something big, something that reeked of money, betrayal, and murder. She handed me a photograph, a dame caught in a compromising situation. The man in the picture had a face you wouldn't forget, not in 100 years. She wanted me to dig up dirt on him, find out what he was hiding, and expose it to the world. But there was something she wasn't telling me, something in the way her eyes darted like a caged bird looking for an escape. I took the case, not because I was a hero, but because I needed the cash. The world had a way of chewing you up and spitting you out, and I had a taste for the high life, even if it meant dancing with the devil. The days that followed were a maze of seedy bars, dimly lit alleyways, and conversations with characters straight out of a Dashiell Hammett novel. I dug up dirt on the man in the photograph, and the trail led to places I'd rather not visit. But this dame had me in her clutches, and I couldn't let go. As I closed in on the truth, the rain outside had turned into a torrential downpour. Thunder rumbled in the distance, a reminder that the night had its own secrets, just waiting to be revealed. I knew I was close, too close, and that's when it all unraveled. In a smoke-filled room, I finally confronted the man in the photograph. There was a showdown, a gun, and a choice to make. In that moment, I understood the darkness that had been lurking in the dame's eyes. The world was a cruel place, and we were all just trying to survive, one day at a time. I made my choice, a choice that would haunt me for the rest of my days. In the end, it wasn't about right or wrong. It was about survival. That's the way it goes in the city that never sleeps, where shadows dance on the walls, and the rain washes away the sins of the night. I finished my drink, put on my fedora, and walked out into the pouring rain, disappearing into the darkness like a character in a forgotten detective novel. In this city, there were no heroes, only survivors, and I was determined to survive, no matter the cost. As the rain continued to pour outside, I found myself wandering through the city's labyrinthine streets, each alleyway and storefront whispering tales of secrets and sin. The neon signs above cast an eerie glow, flickering like the half-truths that filled my world. The dame's case had left me with more questions than answers. It was the kind of puzzle that could drive a man to madness, and I couldn't let it go. In my line line of work, there were no easy answers, just shades of gray that blurred the line between right and wrong. I retraced my steps, following the breadcrumbs of deceit and betrayal. I talked to informants, small-time crooks, and anyone who could shed light on the darkness that had enveloped the dame's life. The deeper I dug, the murkier the waters became. I had to tread carefully, for in this city, trust was a commodity as rare as an honest politician. I kept a low profile, sticking to the shadows, always watching my back. It was a dangerous game, one where the odds were stacked against me. The more I uncovered, the more I realized that the dame was not as innocent as she seemed. Her own secrets, like skeletons in a closet, had come back to haunt her. The man in the photograph was a key to a past she'd tried to bury. The case led me to the heart of the city's underbelly, where powerful men with hidden agendas pulled the strings. There was a darkness that seeped through every corner, and I was about to uncover the truth, a truth that could shatter the illusions of the world I knew. In a dimly lit bar, where the air was thick with cigarette smoke and the clinking of glasses, I finally confronted the dame. Her eyes held a mixture of fear and desperation, a reflection of the choices that had brought us to this point. She confessed, her words cutting through the smoke-filled haze like a dagger. The man in the photograph was a link to a dangerous underworld, and she had been entangled in a web of deceit that threatened to consume her. It was a choice, another choice, that would change the course of my life. I could expose the truth, bring down the corrupt, and hope for a glimmer of redemption. Or I could walk away, leaving the dame to face the consequences of her actions. In the end, I made my choice, one that would forever bind my fate to the city's shadows. It wasn't about being a hero or a savior. It was about surviving in a world where darkness lurked around every corner. I walked out of that smoky bar, disappearing into the night, my fedora pulled low, and my past trailing behind me like a wisp of smoke. In this city, there were no clear lines between good and evil, just a world where secrets and shadows danced in the moonlight. The rain continued to pour as I walked through the city's wet streets, a man haunted by the choices he'd made. In a place where the line between right and wrong was blurred, I was just another silhouette in the downpour, seeking refuge from the storm that raged both outside and within. Thank you for spending your time with me again. I look forward to our next. Until then,